Hello everyone, welcome in. This is the first class review to section 2, which is titled Why Do We Draw This Way? Fundamentals 1, which is going to be space. And of course the first class related to this, which is going to be on perspective, section 2.1 of Mogoon's class, all the way up here at the top. Fundamentals of stylized character art with Mogoon. Just a quick note, I will be officially changing the upload schedule to these class reviews to every 3 to 4 days instead of the past 2 to 3. Just give me an extra day of time to work on them. I've got school starting up soon, and with my second job, as well as trying to work on my portfolio for when I finish school and hopefully try and step out into my field of interest, I'll actually have some works to show for it. Because of that, I do need a little bit more time between videos to work on said things. Hopefully you guys understand, and as always, I appreciate the support that you guys give me in regards to these videos and the reviews, and I hope to hear more from you guys in the future. So as regards for this class 2.1 on perspective, this was actually a really insightful class. What's interesting is that Mogoon takes a very traditional approach when it comes down to teaching the fundamentals of art, unlike some of the other instructors that we've seen so far. So if you like a traditional approach, a more art school approach to learning the fundamentals, Mogoon's class is very geared towards that. So to start, the fundamentals, which as we've reviewed convey art effectively, is going to be space or perspective, form or 3D objects, really the figure that you're drawing, and light or color, contrast, all the values that create light and color in themselves. Perspective is an illusion or a natural phenomenon, so it's not something that we can really make, as it is just something that occurs when something is drawn properly in 3D space. And so the principles of perspective are 3 of them that he lists to help better understand how we draw things in 3D, which is going to be that 1, objects look smaller when they're farther away, 2, parallel lines intersect at a point, and with 2 comes 3, which is that lines which intersect at a single point are parallel. These points really come from observing how artists draw and understand 3D space and perspective, and so these aren't really anything that you really need to drill down and study, but they are really good points when you're understanding how things within 3D space sort of operate and what they imply by their shape and line and direction. I know that doesn't make too much sense without visual context, but I will try and provide some visual context at the bottom when I get to it here very soon. But in any case, I hope this helps you understand. A lot of Mogoon's class for this lecture was very visual based, and he talks more about the scientific aspect of field of view and point of view and vanishing point and other aspects of perspective that are better shown through objects. So that's mainly the gist of it on the principle side of things, but for the actual practice aspect of it, he kind of talks about his tactics for practicing perspective, which is going to be to draw a regular cube, and that it's the standard of measurement in perspective because it has a strict X, Y, and Z axis that align. So if you see, when normally studying drawing 3D objects in perspective, cubes are normally be the first thing you draw, and that's because it's very easy to shade them and apply them in a 3D space, but as well as that when drawn within 3D space, align to the 3 axes that create 3D space, which is the X, Y, and Z axes. And then just as a quick note, to draw straight lines with the elbow or the shoulder in order to have a better area of rotation, and that's just because if you notice, if you rotate your fingers and your wrist alone, the point in which your wrist or your fingers have to start rotating because of the joint is much shorter than the length of what that would be when rotating your elbow. So because of that, you can actually get much longer area of reach for creating straight lines across your canvas with your elbow and your shoulder rather than just the smaller joints that make up your hand and your fingers. So in summary, perspective is created from a point of view. By understanding how lines work in perspective, accurate 3D shapes can be drawn, and mastering 3D rotations of a cube will reinforce strong fundamentals of 3D and other perspectives. So the self-assigned homework that I thought was appropriate that Mogoon mentions is a very strong skill to have in understanding 3D space is to draw a 4-directional cube that rotates as it moves along the axes, and to get used to 8 directions as well in order to better understand 3D space in various angles and move that into drawing different figures rather than just cubes. So I'll show some examples of what I mean. Hopefully they help you understand what the more principle-based perspective points are that I mentioned earlier in this review, as well as the homework and what that really entails and how that could possibly help you in understanding perspective. So this was section 2.1 of Mogoon's class. Hopefully this class review helped, and as always, we're going to be getting to a little bit more of the nitty-gritty details and understanding a little bit more about perspective in our next class, so stay tuned. Hopefully I will see you guys in the next lecture, and as always, you guys have a good day. I'll see you guys in the next one.